Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we help you to absorb powerful, life-changing insights from top wellness experts with our daily bite-sized wellness podcast summaries. Each episode is packed with distilled, powerful takeaways to boost your health and well-being. To support this podcast, please scroll down on whatever app you're listening. Ratings and reviews are helpful. Even better, just send the show to a friend. Check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page, or simply click the Support the Show link below the episode description.
Building muscle after 40 seems impossible, right? Well, the latest research from elite fitness coach Jay Ferruggia completely shatters that myth, showing how people in their 40s and 50s are actually achieving better results than their younger counterparts.
That's such a fascinating perspective shift. I've been following Ferruggia's work, and his findings about training optimization for the over 40 crowd are really groundbreaking.
You know what really caught my attention? The way he completely dismantles this idea that we need to train harder as we age. His research shows that the typical high-volume, minimal rest approach actually works against us after 40.
Well, that certainly challenges the no pain, no gain mentality we've all been fed. How does he suggest managing training volume?
Here's the thing. He's found that limiting sets to 8 to 12 per body part per week produces optimal results. Anything beyond that, especially sets over 15 reps, just creates what he calls junk volume that hampers recovery.
That's quite different from what most trainers recommend. What about the actual exercises themselves?
So get this, Ferruggia advocates for a really interesting hybrid approach. Instead of the typical free weights or nothing mindset, he's found that combining free weights with machines actually produces better results for the over 40 crowd.
That makes so much sense when you consider the joint stress and stability factors. What specific exercises does he recommend?
Well, for legs specifically, he's big on exercises like safety bar squats and Bulgarian split squats. But here's what's really interesting. He emphasizes that different muscle groups need different recovery periods after 40. The chest and hamstrings, for example, typically need more recovery time than other muscle groups.
Oh, wow. That's something I've never heard before. How does that affect the overall training structure?
Let me tell you about this fascinating approach to programming he's developed. Instead of the traditional body part split, he suggests organizing workouts around recovery patterns. And get this, he's found that proper warm-up techniques are actually more important than the workout itself for people over 40.
That's quite a shift from conventional wisdom. What about the nutrition aspect? I imagine that plays a crucial role too.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. Ferruggia's research shows that carb cycling, adjusting carb intake based on training days, produces significantly better results than traditional high-protein, moderate carb approaches.
So, how exactly does that work in practice?
Well, on training days, you'd increase carbs to fuel workouts and recovery, while on rest days, you'd drop them lower. But here's the key insight. He recommends keeping protein at about 1 gram per pound of body weight consistently, which is actually lower than what many people think they need.
That's fascinating how he's managed to optimize both training and nutrition specifically for this age group. What about cardio? That's usually a controversial topic.
You know what's really surprising about his cardio recommendations? He's found that low-intensity, steady-state cardio actually produces better fat loss results in the over 40 population than high-intensity intervals.
That seems counterintuitive given how popular HIIT has become. Why is that?
Well, it comes down to recovery capacity. His research shows that after 40, our bodies simply can't handle the same frequency of high-intensity work. But here's what's really interesting. When people switch to his approach, they often see better results while feeling less beaten up.
That really challenges the go hard or go home mentality that's so prevalent in fitness culture.
Exactly right. And let me share something else that's really eye-opening. Ferruggia has found that sleep quality actually has a bigger impact on muscle growth and fat loss than training intensity for people over 40.
That's quite a paradigm shift. How does he suggest implementing all these changes?
Well, here's the brilliant part. He recommends a gradual transition. Start with optimizing sleep and recovery, then adjust training volume, and finally dial in nutrition. But get this, his data shows that people who follow this sequence are 3 times more likely to stick with the program long term.
Those are some impressive statistics. What would you say is the biggest takeaway from all this research?
You know what really stands out to me? The idea that building muscle and burning fat after 40 isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. Ferruggia's approach shows that by understanding and working with our body's changing needs, we can actually achieve better results than we did in our younger years.
That's such an empowering message for people who might have thought their best fitness days were behind them.
And here's the really exciting part. This research is just the beginning. Ferruggia is currently studying how these principles can be further optimized for people in their 50s and 60s, suggesting that age really might just be a number when it comes to fitness.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Lab Digest. If you have received value from the podcast, I have 3 asks of you. 1, share the show with your friends and send them a link to the show. 2, please leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening. And last but not least, please let me know what topics you would like us to cover in the future. You can contact me by sending me a message using the Send Us a Text link below the episode description.